He leaned in, expecting an innocent secret from a little girl, but what she whispered into his ear, with the world's cameras rolling, was meant to be a political killshot designed to shatter his presidency in a single, viral moment. The heat on the South Lawn that Tuesday was oppressive. It radiated off the manicured grass in shimmering waves, making the air thick and heavy. The mood among the assembled press corps was just as suffocating. President Donald Trump stood at the presidential lectern, the midday sun glinting off his signature blonde hair. He was dressed in a sharp, dark navy suit and a bold red tie, a uniform of power that seemed to defy the sweltering temperature. Just moments before, he had been sparring with reporters over his deeply controversial decision to deploy the National Guard to Los Angeles. The questions were barbs, sharp and relentless, accusing him of federal overreach and authoritarian tactics. Trump, in his element, had parried every attack, his voice booming with defiance. "We will have law and order," he declared, his gaze sweeping over the sea of hostile faces. "We will not let our great cities be overrun. It's that simple." To the side, his young, perpetually anxious chief of staff, Mark, wiped a bead of sweat from his brow. He hated these open-air press conferences. They were unpredictable, uncontrollable. And today, he had a particularly bad feeling. In the front row, just feet from the president, stood a woman Mark recognized instantly, a prominent, well-funded activist who had built her entire career on opposing Trump's agenda. And holding her hand was her daughter, a small girl of about 6 or 7. The girl was a stark contrast to the tense, cynical adults around her. She wore a bright, canary-yellow sundress, and her light brown hair was pulled back into 2 intricate braids, a small purple clip fastened near her temple. She clutched a crayon drawing in one hand. The White House press secretary, seeing a potential PR victory, had arranged for the girl to present her drawing to the president. Mark had protested. "It's a setup," he'd warned. "Don't do it." But the allure of a heartwarming photo op, the powerful president softened by the innocence of a child, was too strong to resist. As the press conference wound down, the press secretary gave a subtle nod. The activist mother nudged her daughter forward. "Go on, honey. Give it to the president." Trump saw the girl approaching, and his entire demeanor shifted. The combative energy vanished, replaced by the practiced charm of a showman who knew a golden moment when he saw one. He stepped away from the lectern, a broad smile spreading across his face, and crouched down, bringing himself eye to eye with the child. The whirring and clicking of camera shutters intensified, a mechanical chorus capturing the scene. He was now a mirror of the photograph, kneeling on the grass, his navy suit creasing, one hand raised in a gentle, welcoming gesture. "Well, hello there," he said, his voice softer now. "What's your name?" "Lily," the girl said, her voice small but clear. She offered him the drawing, a colorful, childish depiction of the White House under a rainbow. "Lily, this is beautiful. Just beautiful," Trump said, taking it carefully. "We're going to hang this right up in the Oval Office. You have a secret for me?" It was a throwaway line, something one says to a child. He expected a shy giggle, or perhaps a whispered secret about a favorite cartoon or a loose tooth. But Lily's expression was dead serious. She took a small step closer, leaned in, and cupped her hands around her mouth, just as her mother had instructed. The press corps held its breath. Cameras zoomed in, capturing the intimate frame. A hot mic on the lectern, left on from the briefing, was perfectly positioned to pick up what came next. Trump leaned his head closer, his face a mixture of curiosity and amusement. And then, the whisper. It wasn't a child's secret. It was a dagger, sharpened by adult bitterness, and delivered by a voice of innocence. "My mommy says you're a tyrant," Lily whispered, her words crisp and loud enough for the microphone to catch them with chilling clarity. "She says you hate families like mine, and you're destroying America." A collective audible gasp rippled through the press. The activist mother in the front row fought to suppress a triumphant smirk. This was it, the trap. The perfect viral clip. The big, bad president, accused of tyranny by a sweet little girl in a yellow dress. It was politically devastating, humiliating, and utterly indefensible. How could he possibly respond? Mark, the chief of staff, felt the blood drain from his face. It was over. He envisioned the headlines, the endless replays on cable news. For a single frozen moment, President Trump didn't move. His smile vanished. A flicker of genuine shock, of raw surprise crossed his features. The world watched, waiting for the explosion. They expected him to recoil in anger, to lash out at the mother, to have security escort them away. But the explosion never came. Instead, something remarkable happened. Trump held his position, kneeling on the grass, his eyes locked on the little girls. He didn't pull away. He didn't rise in fury. He simply looked at her, and in that long, silent second, he made a decision. He would not give them the reaction they craved. He took a slow, deliberate breath, and his expression softened into one of profound seriousness, tinged with something that looked like pity, not for himself, but for the child. He ignored the cameras. He ignored the stunned reporters and the smug activist. He spoke to Lily, his voice low and calm, a private conversation in the most public of settings. "A tyrant," he repeated softly. "That's a very big, very strong word, Lily. Your mommy is teaching you a lot of big words." He paused, letting his words hang in the air. It takes a lot of courage to say something like that to someone. "You're a very brave girl." Lily looked confused. This wasn't the reaction she'd been told to expect. "But I'm going to tell you a real secret," Trump continued, leaning just a little closer. "Real courage, the strongest courage of all, isn't just saying the words someone else gives you. It's learning to find your own words. It's learning to look with your own eyes and decide for yourself what's true." He held her gaze for a moment longer, then gave her a slow, deliberate wink. Slowly, he pushed himself up to his full height. He turned away from the child and faced the now silent press corps. The smirk was gone from the activist mother's face, replaced by a look of bewildered frustration. Her perfect plan was unraveling. President Trump walked back to the lectern, his face set like stone. "I think you all heard that," he said, his voice resonating with a newfound authority that silenced any potential follow-up questions. "You just witnessed a child, a beautiful, brave little girl, being used as a pawn in a political game." He let that sink in. "But I'm going to tell you what I heard. I didn't hear a talking point. I heard a voice. And in the United States of America, every single voice deserves to be heard, even the ones that have been programmed to attack you, especially those." He was no longer on the defensive. He was in command, turning their weapon back on them. "My job," he concluded, his voice ringing across the lawn, "is not to be liked by my critics. My job is to build a country so strong, so safe, and so prosperous that one day, a little girl like Lily won't need her mother to tell her what to think about her president. She'll grow up in a nation of such opportunity and freedom that she'll see the truth with her own two eyes. That is the promise I'm fighting for." Without another word, he turned, gave a curt nod to his chief of staff, and walked briskly back toward the Oval Office, leaving a stunned, silent lawn behind him. The trap had been set, the bait had been taken, but in a masterclass of political judo, the president had not only escaped, he had emerged stronger, turning a moment of planned humiliation into a powerful testament to his leadership. What do you think was going through the president's mind in that split second after he heard the whisper? Share your perspective in the comments below. If you appreciate stories that explore the moments that define leadership, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. We'll see you in the next one.